And then you go, well, hold on a minute. In the ancient world, they were sacrificing kids, young virgins to the gods, openly, because it was their culture. So how does this all fit together? What brings it together is this non-human force operating in another dimension, which interpenetrates this one. Well, we can't see it because of reasons I've talked about. These so-called gods, they're not gods, they're a bunch of prats. They feed off human energy, but they feed off a particular type of human energy, low vibrational human energy, all based around the base emotion of fear. You know, people talk about the fact that this cult uses fear to manipulate the population. Absolutely right. But it's not just to get them into a state of subordination through fear. It's also because of what that fear does. Now, again, back to mainstream science, it's known that every time we think and every time we feel emotion and express emotion, we are generating frequencies. We're generating energy. And the nature of the frequencies relates to the nature of the emotion, the nature of the thought. So if you're in a state of joy and happiness and appreciation and love and peace, then you are generating high frequencies from that. They're not interested in that, which is why this cult and its masters are not interested in a world of love, of peace, of harmony. They're not interested in that. Don't feed them. They want the low vibrational energies of fear, anxiety, hatred, regret, recrimination, all the different emotions, that low vibrational emotions, because they're feeding off them. And so a war, yes, there are many levels of a war that create things that happen that are beneficial to the cult, not least divide and rule. But a war at the level I'm talking about is a massive, massive, enormous projector and generator of low vibrational emotion. Not just the people fighting the war on all sides, but the people back home wondering if their loved ones are going to come home or not. It's just an extraordinary explosion of low vibrational emotional energy. You look at First World War, Second World War. You look at what's happened in Gaza, for goodness sake, since October the 7th. I mean, imagine the emotional energy that's been generated there. And these so-called gods, bunch of prats, are feeding off it. Now we start to understand why these elitists are doing these human sacrifice rituals to these gods. First of all, they know the inner core of the cult. They know that they're controlled by these gods and they're doing their bidding. And they're terrified of them. I've talked to people on the inside over the years of this satanic cult network. They're terrified of these other dimensional entities. So what happens is they, just as in the ancient world, so now, but in the ancient world, it was part of their culture. They could do it openly. Now they have to do it secretly. They are taking someone who is the sacrifice, and they are conducting the ritual. This is why they're still doing ancient rituals now in the same way. They conduct the ritual in a way that generates maximum terror in the victim. Because terror is an enormously powerful, low vibrational energy. And so they build it up and they build it up and they're building up the terror. And what then happens is that terror creates a chemical reaction in the blood that releases adrenaline, very powerful adrenaline. And when they are drinking the blood, it's horrible, but let's just face what's going on. when they're drinking the blood in these human sacrifice rituals, it's laced with this adrenaline. And I've talked to people who've observed this, seen this, and they say these people go absolutely crazy. It's like a drug to them once they start drinking it. And here we have the adrenochrome story before our eyes. And if I'm looking at you and you are in a really emotional state, I can see from your facial expressions and your body language, you're in an emotional state. What I can't see, because it's outside of visible light, is the energy that emotion is giving off. Why? Because it's an astral frequency. It's going into this astral dimension where these entities are, and they're overseeing from this astral dimension this sacrifice, and they're feeding off the energy of terror that is emitted by the victim. So when I was looking at these ancient satanic human sacrifice rituals, and they were saying, "Oh, we're doing it as a gift to the gods." Again, my question was, why? What do the gods get out of this? Well, they get the energy of the victim out of this. And once you start to grasp that, you know, when in the first Matrix movie, Jason, when the Morpheus character held up the battery and said that the Matrix is a computer-generated dream world designed to turn humans into one of these, he was talking actually in a apparently fictional movie a very profound truth. They see us as batteries, as sources of energy, which they feed off. And suddenly so much starts to make sense, including why throughout known human history, this world has always been such a shithole in terms of the way that people experience it. I mean, I've been around the world many, many times before I was banned from endless countries now, about 31 or more. But what I saw in Asia, in South America, in Africa, in Central America, and increasingly the West, but what I saw was that people were not having a bloody great time. They were trying to survive to the end of another day or the end of another week or the end of the month to pay the rent. And they were in states of anxiety and trauma as a result of all of this. Well, that's the vast majority of humanity. Just think of the energy that's giving off.
So let me ask you something about that.
Giving off.